Hello, everybody. First of all, wishing everybody a very happy new year 2021. Remember that this will not be 2021 for everybody. There's going to be a lot of people that will come back to watch this in the future. So I will put a special hello to anybody out there in 2036, ending when the first batch of 5555 stakes will be coming out. I want to thank Matty for giving me the invitation to come on here and to say a few words on HEX's first ever conference. I'm never really one to condense my words or my views, but I've been allowed 20 minutes to see what I can share with you guys. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Silver the Antidote, obviously not my legal title, and I've been putting out a lot of content on HEX throughout 2020. I've been invested in HEX since 2019 at the beginning, but only started to make public videos later on in 2020. I currently have a Twitter account, Silver underscore Antidote, and also have a YouTube channel, Silver the Antidote. So currently I seem to have got myself into a position inside of the community where I'm the guy who goes through the accounts, the account keeper, or the Sherlock Holmes of HEX. And hopefully I bring a lot of transparency to what a lot of people class as a scam. One of the most amazing things about the blockchain and Ethereum and Uniswap is the transparency that is created inside of this ecosystem, outside of centralized exchanges that hide all the data behind their walls. Inside of this DeFi revolution that HEX initiated, I'm a guy who tries to paint a picture of what is actually taking place on the blockchain, what type of accounts, their activities, their behaviors, their personalities, how large of investments they are doing, what other things they may be connected to. I'm the guy who sort of connects it all together a little bit more. It's a very time consuming job and it takes a lot of investment for you guys just to even watch my videos, let alone try to build out your own versions of data. But what's beautiful is it is all viewable, unlike the older systems inside of cryptocurrencies. So a little bit later on, I will be joining the game theory panel at I think it's 9 p.m. Central Time, and that'll be shortly after this video today. So the concept of what I'm really going to outline inside of today's short window of time is really just to do an overview of my experiences in the last year of HEX and to share that with everybody else. One of the things about doing the data work and nose deep inside of spreadsheets, logging it all down, I actually have a completely wider ability to analyze things just naturally in life. And those people are generally classed as conspiracy theorists. So the beautiful thing about the work that I've already produced inside of HEX is it doesn't require conspiracy because everything is fact. And anybody can challenge you, can just repeat narratives of their closed mindset without actually even understanding that, well, you can prove a lot inside of this space, which should actually remove any concern of risk. The more data you can prove, the more you can discredit anybody saying negative things about it with zero research. And that's the problem inside of this space. Most people don't do any research, they just repeat what other people say about certain things. So, what I really try to do inside of my channel, inside of my work, is use a little thing called critical thinking. Now, what is critical thinking? It's the ability to conceptualize and apply analysis process with experience and observation to effectively conclude a summary. Not just hearsay, not just speculation, but evidence backed up through analyzing and my experience being inside of blockchain for several years to help give my views and opinions to those who may want to listen. But what most people also lack is discernment, the ability to judge something. So, with those two skill sets, critical thinking and discernment, most people will be able to actually rationalize and understand the value and the power that HEX actually has. Anybody that discredits it, that does not wish to even spend time to learn about something, they fall into the trap of being misguided by others. And that's unfortunate. So, our objectives inside of the content creators, the people who are actively creating videos almost religiously daily to try to increase awareness. Cryptocurrencies are all about awareness because a lot of this stuff is complicated. And we have people inside of HEX who are trying to simplify the process in order to be able to buy and hold a position as effortlessly as possible with the least amount of friction. Now it comes down to everybody else to actually go out into the world and show this to the world. In today's age where everything is closing down, all those fences are being put up, all those barricades are being created, all those licenses and permits and restrictions are becoming ever harder to overcome. And now with the potential travel bans that are occurring all over the world, how much are we actually going to be able to spread as a people as this control continues to tighten down on everybody? Now, believe it or not, this all kind of ties in to game theory, or at least I'm trying to move it into that direction. So at least this ties into the conversations that hopefully we'll be having later on today. So let me talk a little bit about the first year that I saw inside of HEX. At the beginning, HEX was hated upon. It was seen as a complete scam. It was a nasty place. The world is a nasty place where there's a lot of negative people out there. And the problem that actually occurred was a lot of the people that did zero research, that have zero cognitive abilities, zero discernment, zero critical thinking, were influencing everybody else and swaying the consensus of everybody inside of the cryptocurrency ecosystem, saying that HEX is a complete scam. And unfortunately, 1 year later, today, it's shown that it has been anything other than that. The complete opposite. In fact, if you were to have bought at any time and just held it and staked it, as of today, as of me making this, there is literally no one who would have lost money. And what is money? An exchange of economic energy. It can be any form of anything. Humans only perceive value, money, as a piece of paper, as a Federal Reserve note, as a British pound. Some people believe only precious metals, hence my name, silver. I was very fond of silver at one point. Still am, but in the technical age, in the decentralized age, and in the age of trying to obtain freedom of travel and movement as a human right inside of this planet, it's a very cumbersome thing to lug around with you, not to mention extremely risky. And that would then revert you back to, okay, maybe only gold is real money. The age old gold is for kings and queens, and silver are for gentlemen. And that is the tool of barter. Well, introducing this digital age that we're in now, value, money, can come in any single form that adopts consensus, that adopts mass usage. And how do you get mass usage? Well, you have to have early people that come into a space, that understand that space, and then go out to build that space. And then many more people come in and share that space to many other people, because it takes time to trickle it down to become usable. Bitcoin started in 2009. It took a long time for that ecosystem to build out, to be the first movers in that space, to create all the infrastructure that has got us to where we are today. It doesn't mean that it is always going to be a number one coin, a number one value, a number one used item of exchange, or store of wealth for that matter. But one of the main differences that we can achieve inside of the HEX community is the ability that it can create freedoms. Many people were turned off from investing into HEX early on because of the people they were listening to. Stop listening to those people. They have lost you opportunity. Opportunity is still available in many forms, but only if you have those three key elements that I've already highlighted. And the good news is that is why you're here. So we're going to be moving into year 2 of HEX. Incredible. It's been a very jam-packed year, and there is no signs of anything slowing down. To the contrary, this thing is speeding up. This thing is like a bullet train moving through time and space. It doesn't stop for anybody, and it can't stop for anybody. The way it's been designed is it's unstoppable. Anybody who thinks these things can be shut down, can be killed, need to look into that a little bit further. Now, with success, with great success, comes even more hate. People are jealous. People are bitter that they've missed out. My words today, it's actually never too late for HEX, because HEX is always self-executing its contract into the future. Year 1 rewards are now finished and over. And to be honest, very few people are actually inside of that space. So with time and with some of the larger players in year 2 exiting some of their positions, they will be having a couple of very hard choices to make. Do I take significant near-time gains over long-term wealth, over creating a store of wealth into the future that pays back to you interest, trustless interest, that you don't have to rely on anybody or anything to operate, because this whole system just works like time. Time never stops. Tick, tick, tick. Noise can come, hate can come, anger can come, threats can come, but time keeps on ticking. And everybody only has so much finite time in their experience here on Earth that the most valuable thing you have is that time. HEX gives you the ability to take your time back, to buy your time. Anybody who is looking at this HEX for the first time into 2021 or 2022 or 2000 whatever, and you're listening to this, there are very few places that will offer the compound interest mechanism inside of what HEX is contracted to do without the interference of any other entity. You directly interact with a contract, doing everything that you're doing inside of it. And hopefully this quarter, 2021, January, February, the Staker app will hopefully streamline all of this process, which will only create significant upflow inside of the adoption phase of year 2, year 3, year 4, as it becomes so much easier just to go up to people and say, hey, download this. This is what you do. It has an automated function for you to stake out, and you don't have to worry about looking at the charts, doing any of those trader type mentalities, which I've only lightly hinted on here, because the general trend inside of HEX is the price will have a continued increase due to the mathematical nature of how the contract works, how the staking process works, irrelevant of traders, irrelevant of large sell orders, and especially with large market corrections. And the thing about large market corrections is that is your opportunity to get in for those significant discounts. To buy at the natural time when people and their emotions are highest is when the market is moving in a very strong bullish trend. And one of the few things that is actually taught inside of the HEX community is corrections are normal. Very, very common, up to 80% in most coins. But what's beautiful in the design is over time, tick, tick, you're always earning interest. So with enough time, you ride out those volatilities, because crypto is violently volatile, horrendously volatile, normally for the upside. But when it's in a downtrend, it feels like it's never going to end. It's just getting worse and worse, and your portfolios are depleting into oblivion. And it can lead to depression. There's a lot of people during 2017 highs that they suddenly got very disenchanted by crypto in its entirety and have cashed out and have left the markets, all because they have been taken advantage of due to how the existing higher echelons of the exchanges, the exchange owners, the leverage platforms, all those places that are designed to destroy the average person, to take their wealth and put it into their pockets. This is the complete opposite function. This is designed to put it into your pockets, to remove trading, to remove leverage, and to just give you back your time, tick, tick, into doing your daily life routines, to focus on your family, to focus on your future, to actually save and position investments to your future, not for the short term quick flip. I need the money now. I want to make 100% this week, and then I'm going to cash it out and I'm going to go look for my next investment. This is how people waste away their life, waste away their time, waste away their opportunity. Moving into year two, the volatilities will probably become a lot more violent as it creates more trust in the ecosystem, because the risk of HEX going to zero after year one significantly reduces every single year that goes by. That is why there's huge risk to reward ratios for the early stages. But remember, that was when there was the maximum fear. Even myself, I was scared to put money into this risky product because we are all unsure about the future. We don't know. And because of 2018 being such a brutal bear market for a lot of investors, a lot of people, our positions were significantly damaged. Those that held, obviously, as per the old narrative of HODL, right? That was a narrative pushed by the exchanges that wanted to just rinse you, bleed you out, be the holder of last resort, as per Trace Myers saying. But you're holding something that is generally not creating anything. It's not offering you anything back. Every single day, HEX is offering you back. And with its very first design of locking up coins into the future, which are irreversible to remove without destroying the entire balance, that's a powerful mechanism. Enforce the good behavior of those actions that you have interacted with the contract, saying, I promise to stake for this period of time, and I understand the risks if I want to change that into the future. I'm a man. And a woman. This is a big boys cryptocurrency. Not for little girls, not for little boys that don't understand what real wealth generation is all about. Because there has to be severe penalties in place to enforce good behavior. But this is like one of the most lightest things of the actual product. Because for me, it's not about the risks that come with wanting to change my mind like a adolescent, but what this does to me, bearing in mind what I learned through 2016, 17, 18, 19, and the emotional roller coasters that I went through personally by making significant amounts of paper gains, feeling on top of the world, and the next day, feeling like you're underneath a bus. HEX helps you remove the psychology aspect of the uncertainty of what to do, always looking for a next trade, always trying to be one step ahead of all the other traders, trying to look at the charts, trying to understand all these different patterns that, the next man is trying to sell you a program on. It eliminates that, and it brings back like an inner peace back into your well-being, your sanity. You wake up and you can actually start to do things differently. Once you've got your initial positions in place and you understand all the risks that you have assigned to your positions, and you start to see the price appreciation as well as the compound effect slowly start to take place, and it's never too late. Time always goes by. The stakes can only operate for a maximum of 5,555 days. So anybody that has a significant advantage now, one day those stakes, those positions will end, and they go back to the beginning of having to initiate a new share rate. And remember, hardly anybody is in this space at the moment because of the negative social media that took effect in the very early stages, discouraging everybody to be involved with this. You know, today there's still threats being thrown around. Everyone that creates media inside of their platforms receives an abundance of it on a daily basis. Don't focus on the negativity of other people. Ignore the negativity. Focus on the positivity, how you can change your life, how you can position yourself for your family's future if only you give yourself some time to study this, to research this, to share this. But I find HEX is such a healthier way to go through life. And if only it came out in 2017, when the market was a lot more confident and willing just to invest into lots of different tokens and coins and promises and this and that, I think we would have had a massive push of investment into this. But like I say, many of them have been swallowed alive by the traders and the exchanges. But guess what? There are hundreds of millions of other people out there who are unable to understand this currently. But every day that goes by is another person that is investing time into trying to better their future, better their horizons, better their life, better their health, better their families. I'm not someone who went super heavy in the early stages of HEX. I started with a dollar cost average approach, but life got in the way for me, and I ended up missing a lot of the rise that took place in the early days. And I figured, oh, I guess I'm too late as well, right? I've obviously missed the boat here again. But contrary to my thoughts, I I put emotion to the side, and I did a lot of research into the stakes, who the people are, what they are actually doing, right? To actually do your critical thinking research before you part with a lot of money. And I found out that what with a lot of negative information out in the space, the data does not lie. There is a decent amount of adoption. That's the other one we'll get to shortly, the community. So I ended up being fully convinced that I see tremendous potential to outperform everything else in the cryptocurrency ecospace. And that takes a lot of backbone to publicly come out and say that and to speak about it and to put in hours and days and weeks of work into trying to share what I have found with everybody else. The beautiful thing about having your time, which I've been fortunate enough because of my previous investments, I have been able to maintain a lifestyle, not to the level I wish, but sufficient enough to own my time. And with that time, to share it with you guys who are listening today, and those who come to my channel and listen to my other views or research. Now, there's a lot of people out there that I know personally who actually have money problems. Not because they don't have any money, but because they have too much money and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to position it inside of the current world. You have banking problems, holding cash, paying nothing. You have house restrictions. If you want to become a landlord in certain countries, there are penalties for having multiple homes. And then you have all the hassles of, are you actually going to be paid rent? What if the tenants don't actually pay? What if they trash the place? And then you have a huge repair bill. You know, there's all these risks associated with everything else inside of the space. Hence Biggie saying, Biggie Smalls by the way, more money, more problems. So with that peace of mind that those people will definitely be coming into this space, once the word starts to spread into 2022, 2023, and the app makes these things a lot more streamlined for them, and people can see the history data points in the price charts, and they can also see endless amounts of new content being released all over the internet. It's only a matter of time before it garners more and more trust. And as it starts to gain more trust, prices could potentially start to slow down. But the difference is the metric of how the pricing systems work inside of Uniswap. And because there is so much capital inside of the world that is just sloshing around, there are billions and billions of dollars that can effectively funnel in to HEX. And that's not even too much of an overstatement. A lot of the big institutions, a lot of the hedge funds, they're all looking for yield. A lot of the yield performing platforms are looking for yield. We have a very tight supply inside of HEX. And of course, we have a lot of big accounts still remaining. But at which point do those hands become unable to hold large positions purely because the numbers that they are going to be returning for cashing out are going to be insane? And anyone in their right minds would not be able to ignore that. The amount of economic energy that will give you to position yourself inside of the world with the securities that people like, homes, businesses, toys. But after that, what else can you do with it? How much money do you actually need? How much things do you actually need? And believe it, like the richest people in the world don't actually own their homes. They still rent them because it's far more beneficial to have those funds invested in things that generate higher yields, that will pay off those relatively insignificant rental prices. Now let me just expand on one last topic as I try to conclude this. HEX has always been a community-driven product. Nobody is paid from the foundation team. Nobody gets payment directly from the founder. Nobody has inside information other than those that are physically going out and doing work to find out information, a bit like myself. But the beauty is everybody is pretty much sharing their information for free, and everybody pretty much has a face, and the community power is growing exponentially daily also. You can tell that by how many people are actually coming out and talking about this now. 2022 is going to be exponential on every single level for HEX. It's not too late. You have not missed the boat. I've been Silver the Antidote. Thank you so much.